Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be using trigonometry to find missing sides of a right triangle. First, let's review our acronym SOHCAHTOA. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent opposite over adjacent. We're going to be using SOHCAHTOA in each question. Let's look at the following steps in order to use trigonometry to find missing sides. First, we write SOHCAHTOA. Second, we star or mark our central angle. Third, we label our sides hypotenuse, adjacent, and opposite. And last, step 4, we set up our trig ratio. Let's take a look at an example. For each of the problems below, use trig ratios to determine the value of x. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my acronym SOHCAHTOA. Next, I'm going to determine what my central angle is, which is angle A, 32 degrees. Next, let's label our right triangle. 13 is my adjacent, because it's next to the central angle. X is opposite of my central angle. The hypotenuse is AB, but we don't need to use that because there's no number or variable there. So let's look at what we have. We have an O and we have an A. Which one out of SOHCAHTOA has an O and an A? That would be TOA, which is tangent. Tan of whatever angle we have is equal to opposite over adjacent. So we have tan of, what's our central angle? 32 degrees is equal to our opposite, which is x, over our adjacent, which is 32. I'm going to put tan of 32 over 1, and I'm going to cross multiply. So I have x is equal to 13 times tan of 32. Now for this question, we have to use our calculator. Before we can use our calculator, we have to make sure that our mode is in degree mode, which it is. Then what we have to do is we have to type in 13 times tan of 32. 13 times tan of 32. And we get 8.123. So x is equal to 8.123, and so on. Let's look at this next question. So first, I'm going to write my acronym SOHCAHTOA. I'm going to determine my central angle, which is 60 degrees, and I'm going to label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So x is next to my central angle, which means it's adjacent. The 11 is across from the 90-degree angle, so that's my hypotenuse. And AC would be my opposite. But since nothing's there, we're not going to be using the opposite. So let's determine which trig function we're going to use. I have an A and I have an H. Out of SOHCAHTOA, which has an A and an H? That would be cosine. So remember, cosine of whatever angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have cosine of my central angle, which is 60 degrees, is equal to adjacent, which is x, over my hypotenuse, which is 11. Remember to put this over 1 and cross multiply. So we have x is equal to 11 times cos of 60. Let's go to our calculator and type this in. Remember, we're already in degree mode. 11 times cos of 60. 5.5. So that is the value of side BC is 5.5.